Hello, everyone. Today is Wednesday, March 2nd. It's my birthday month. End of March is my birthday, so feel free to send me presents. I'm just kidding. I want to thank everyone in regards to reaching out to me for this. Some of you are Facebook friends with me, and some of you are also Facebook friends with my wife. And those of you that are know that my father-in-law passed away Monday night. So it was a difficult couple of days. And yesterday was like, I guess around noon. It was pretty hard for me. Slowly things get back to normal. I'm going to put that in quotes because you never really get over this sort of thing. It affects you, it stays with you, but you learn to live with it. One thing I'd like to mention for the group, my wife at the hospital kept saying, I wish I would have texted him. I wish I would have reached out to him last week, those sort of things. So I want you to take a moment and think about those close to you. And then think about them dying unexpectedly, just for a second. And then think about what you will regret. And when you have that list of things that you'll regret, go do those. Don't wait. Monday night, I think, or Tuesday, I don't know what day it was. I said, I wish we had warning lights or, like some sort of warning system. But we don't. Nobody knows when anyone's going to pass. So take these moments that you do have and make the best of them. So I hope this wasn't too much of a downer. But like I said, learn from this, take what you can from this, because you don't want to live with regrets. Things are hard, but it's even harder living with a regret. So, like I said, thank you everyone for your wishes. Means quite a bit to me. And like I said, slowly things get better little by little. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alan. Hopefully go over some things in the market. I know that Ukraine is still, or is it Ukraine? Ukraine is still at the forefront. I think when I saw RTX, it was wasn't really pulling back, it was consolidating. And that's usually what happens with runners like that. They get so far extended from their 20 SMA that they sit here and they consolidate before either making a move up or making a move back down. So gold. Yeah, see this consolidation right here. And if I drew a box, wait for a breakout. You can trade here, but really all it's doing is burning theta. So oil. You know what? Let me XOM. Again, here's this consolidation, but we are moving higher. So let me pass it over to Alan. I do know that he likes Fidelity. So we'll see what Alan has to say. Alan.
Okay, thank you. And that is is that on the 5-minute chart?
5-minute chart.
Okay, good. So the two trades you should have been in today, which I was in, Cleveland Cliffs, CLF. So you see that as it went over the 5-minute bar, which was about 10 o'clock, it turned into be a halfway decent trade. 50 contracts on it. You see it did go ahead and peak below it, but it did go ahead and go back up afterwards. So now I think if you can zoom that, this is kind of where I get into the open a little bit. So look, bring that up to the open. It's the second bar. Yeah, right there. See that open? You see how that works? So this is a trick that I've used. Now, what I'll do sometimes when a stock has momentum is that I'll set my line, my outline below the open. So in this particular case, never got you out. Now, you originally, if you were playing it exactly, you would have been out as soon as it broke the 5 minute, and you would have, been in and out and made, no money, but at least you would have saved your capital. But if you kept in it, you would have probably done halfway decent. It really didn't go that many places, but I was in Cleveland Cliffs today. Another one I was in is US Steel X.
Yeah, and before you get there, I think, I was going to mention the 3 month, it's still running up Cleveland Cliffs. It's just, these momentous moves right here. It eventually it needs to consolidate. And I think that's, even though it was bullish, I think that's what it's doing today. US Steel again looks a lot like the same chart.
Yeah, is that the 5 minute?
Yep. Now it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't before. Now that one worked out a lot better. So that one I had 50 contracts of the 29 call. So that one did pretty well. But you can see you bought in at, again, a little after 10 o'clock. You were aggressive and you got in, you lost your money because basically it just, went down after you got in.
Yeah.
But so you would get in the 5 minute, which would have been right around 10:20. In this case, your high of the day was 122. I've always been fascinated on that because 122 and 222 are actually magical times in the market. I see a lot of times where that's the high of the day. So, but you can see 122 was a perfect exit entry there. And then I actually went short. So I was in US Steel quite a bit. I get into 50 contracts usually.
Yeah, people ask me, what strike? And if you notice, the 5 minute high right here is 28.38. So the 29 calls are just out of the money. And those seem to have the most bang for the buck.
Well, actually 122, you were there. 122, what was it, the price?
29.12. So they did go in the money.
Yeah, but I don't, some people get caught up in the money. Who cares unless you're going to go ahead and you hold it at 3 o'clock on expiration. It don't matter if it's in the money. Right. This is all about a quick turnaround. Usually when it gets in the money, the value drops very quickly. This is all about, getting in, getting out. So that 29 call, I think, was going for $70 a contract. So it's like $3,500. It was a good, $70 contract. So that was a good trade. But I usually use out of the money. I don't usually use in the money at all because it just costs so much. And then I got to watch my stops a lot tighter. I do out of the money, usually it doesn't move as much. So let's say if you buy in the money and it drops 10, 15 cents after you buy in, usually you're stopped out of the trade. If you're out of the money, usually it only it won't vary that much, so you can stay in the trade longer. But in this particular case, No, that was a really good trade because out of the money, 29 calls. And then when it got over 29, it was actually very good. I thought I was gonna get $5,000 on it, but it didn't work out that way. That's what I put my order in for. It didn't.
Nobody took it, huh?
So that's kind of what I do. A lot of times, when I do a trade like that, I'll go ahead and I think I was in at $30 a contract, something like that. And I'll sometimes I'll put my order in when I do the trade. So I try to be optimistic. So I might do 50 times $1. And then, to get the $5,000 on a $1,500 trade, that's 3,500. But the reason I say that is because it kind of makes you, if you're not watching and you got to spike upward, usually you can get that higher price. But is what I was shooting for. I didn't get that. I was hoping for that. But I actually thought when I hit 29, it was going to bounce. It did twice, 3 times it bounced at 29, but it found its way over. And then obviously you can see it didn't finish at. So my strategy is after I got out, when it dropped below 29, I went short on the 28.50 puts. And then I did the 28 puts. But you see what happened at the end. I sold them both.
Yeah.
I don't like to stay overnight. Yeah, I caught that, so I made a few dollars on it. But you see what happened after 222, got a little bit of a drop, but it never even got close to the 5-minute high.
Right, exactly. And just to clarify, you mentioned, so you buy the 29 calls and then put an order to sell in and at $1. For those of you new, those are limit orders.
Yeah.
Do not put market orders in. Because
I never do a market order. I've been burned so many times. Ain't even funny.
And, and that's the thing with stops as well. If you have something, an option that is quite volatile, it could blow through your stop and who knows where you're going to end up selling or buying. Because there is someone out there putting a stupidly low buy order or a stupidly high sell order. And if you have a market order, you may be the one that falls for that. So yeah, so limit, always use a limit.
Yeah, always use a limit. Don't use the market. I have done the market on occasion. Sometimes if it's just moving so darn quick and I'm chasing it, I'll do the limit to sell, not ever to buy. I'll tell you what, I've had once or twice that I got really burned on that. Like the stock was like, and this is why you buy certain stocks. I don't buy the stocks I'm telling you what happened to me. One of the ones is NetTees, NTES. It was worth, I think the contracts were worth like maybe, whatever, like $1,500, and I put a market order in, and it went off, and I only got 500. Because if that bid person, if there's nobody on the bid side and they're really low, and they're, so a lot of stocks that don't trade that well, that they have very, big, limited ask and limit and ask orders, so.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So you got a bid and you got an ask. So on a good stock, it's like 80 and 81. On a bad stock, your bid is like 14 or 15 and then 90. So when I see a stock like that, I run. Don't want it. Don't want anything to do with it. So you want a good ask. And the stocks I post are that way. And a thing to watch, and I haven't alerted everybody to, I'll alert it to you now. Watch UPS and FedEx. They had a good day today, but technically we could see a major drop in those two stocks because they can't eat these higher fuel costs.
Oh,
It's gonna end up affecting them on the bottom line.
yeah.
You're talking oil's gone up $16 a barrel in 2 days. That's unsustainable. We might go up another, $8 tomorrow. So, not good stuff. Well, Brian, I gotta go. I got a meeting. I'd like to go ahead and say I'm sorry for your loss. Tell Lisa that, I'm sorry for what happened. I went through that with my father about 2 years ago. And I know between the funeral arrangements and everything, it's so hard on the family. And so
Yeah.
my thoughts and prayers out to you and your family. So.
Yeah, thank you. And like I said, thank you everyone for commenting on my posts, reaching out. Sorry to be vague about it. But at the time, Lisa hadn't notified anyone. And it wasn't really my place. And yeah, and it was, like I said, it was more for me than it was my Facebook audience. But thank you. Hug your loved ones close and don't put things off. I read a book about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 blast off. And, when there are hard things to do, because your brain starts thinking about, well, maybe I don't want to do this, or your brain starts making excuses on things that you need to do. Just count backwards from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then do it and get it done. So with that said, everybody have a good night. Oh, I'm still dealing with Apple. They still think I'm dealing with binary options. So today I put a formal request to review the app. Hopefully this is the end of it, and hopefully next week we go live with it. So thank you everyone, and have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. Bye everyone.
All right, I'll see you.